What's up, everybody? It's Masenko, and I'm joined here with Matrix, and we are going to talk about the game we just had. How you doing, Matrix?
Hey guys, how you going? How's it going?
They're going well. Let's turn down the audio on this. Sorry. So, this is the obviously the team previews. We're going to talk about the teams themselves afterwards, just because we figured it's better just to watch the game and we can talk about all the technical stuff after. But so what was going through your mind during this team preview, Matrix?
So yeah, I was really happy to not see Stack Attacker because Stack Attacker was a bit of an issue for me personally, and yet you'll see that I'm literally taking full amount of time to select my mons. I decided that it was probably best to just go with my initial gut feeling of Darmatan plus Crobat lead and lead quite offensively to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really wanted to bring the Tapu Fini and Steelix in the back. I felt like Tapu Fini was good for the Palisand, and I felt like Steelix really did well against like checking your Snorlax and your Dusknoir.
Right. Yeah. For me, I had a game plan of leading Rabombi plus Dusknoir. Um, as you'll see soon, the Darmanitan ends up being Choice Scarf, but without that, the Charm Rabombi actually puts in a lot of work. It lets me get up Trick Room a little bit easier.
Hmm.
Just because the Darmanitan can't do like nearly as much to me if it's Charmed first. But since you had that Choice Scarf, I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to double Rabombi here in this first turn. Just because you can outspeed it that way with the Crobat Darmanitan. This was actually a lead that I was expecting a lot. I thought you might run Choice Scarf at some point, but I didn't know if you would want to do that just because you get a little bit less damage against this team, which is pretty bulky.
Yeah.
So,
The
no,
the
sorry.
idea was that Darmanitan plus Crobat does really get well against your Rabombi lead. Especially if you want to do like speed swap and stuff. And I have a lot of tech on the Darmanitan and Crobat, and I kind of knew Dusknoir was definitely going to be led because of you always want to get that Frisk.
Yeah, Frisk is just so nice. So right now I'm like debating whether or not to just protect because I figure Crobat Darmanitan going into Dust Noir is like like a pretty viable option here. But I think knowing you, like I figured you were running Whirlwind on that Crobat to deal with my Trick Room, so I thought you were gonna go for it here, and I thought that Protect would have been pretty useless because then you just switch me out and I'm not doing anything. So this does a ton of damage.
Yeah, which is
Rocky Helmet.
actually quite a low roll.
But I do a little bit of damage back with that Rocky Helmet, which is nice.
That Rocky Helmet was really nice. When I saw that, I was thinking that really smart considering I've got so many mons that can do recoil, and it just really hurts.
Yeah. So I get the Charm off, and if I had gone for Trick Room here, like you see I lived that with 7 health, we did the calcs for that, and it is a roll to kill. But if I had just gone for like Trick Room or Protect there, I'm in like a super good position here, unfortunately for me. So I went for the Taunt instead because I was like, he's going for Whirlwind here, and I ended up being wrong. Funnily enough, you do have Whirlwind on that Crobat, so it wasn't
Yeah.
the worst play, I would say, but whatever. So here I'm just trying to like chip that Darmanitan best I can, try to kill it before anything goes on. And I'm like, I could switch out the Dust Noir, but like at this point it's kind of useless. So
Yeah, I didn't feel like you were going to switch the Dusknoir here. So I just kind of split my focus on it. I know the Rabombi is going to be Focus Sash, or at least it's very likely to, but I thought I'd just take it to the Sash with the one Mon and KO the other one, the Dusknoir with the other. Uh,
I figured you'd kill it here, but there was the chance that you do like think I either switch or protect, just to be annoying. So I just went for the Trick Room to see if I could get it up, but ultimately it's the correct play. And then you Brave Bird, get me down to Sash. Take some more damage. Well, another really annoying thing about these games is like your mons live with so little health on so many different occasions. It's kind of sad, but not that I necessarily put them there. Moonblast is dealing a chunk there, but it's not doing nearly enough, unfortunately.
yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, what do I do here? I think I probably need to preserve the Rabombi and kill that Crobat, just so that I can get a speed swap off later in the game, potentially. Because I know that Darmanitan probably can't do a whole lot to Snorlax, because I am thick fat. Go for the curse. What are you thinking?
I kind of half expected the Rabombi to switch out here, but I can't really. I don't even remember the full set of moves I did here. So let me see what I do, and I can probably justify it.
Go for the Flare Blitz into Snorlax, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You're a -2.
That was -2 damage, and that kind of confirms to me, even with it being -2, I'm like, that's got to be like thick fat, because even -2 sheer force Flare Blitz is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And yet that wasn't doing as much as I expected. And then you get that curse off, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an issue for me, who's got a Steelix in the back.
Yeah. And I wasn't
so,
running a ground move on the Snorlax, unfortunately. If I was, I think that Steelix would have been a little bit more threatened. But I was running the Palossand with the ground move. Here you do something a little cheeky.
Yeah, so this was, to me, I was thinking, you're going to probably target the Darmanitan here. I felt like pretty confident that I could switch in Tapu Fini. And you get to see some tech here, so I'll just let the play talk for itself.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking I need to kill this Crobat because it's the one thing other than Darmanitan who is like just kind of being really annoying. I think with like Seed Bomb and the Curse up, if I can, like, I even have Sludge Bomb on the Palossand to deal with this Tapu Fini. I know that Tapu Fini can hit it with Scald pretty hard. But regardless of that, I do have like 252 in HP, and it can actually live a Scald at full health. I don't think it can live a Scald from this range. And you hit your Tapu Fini with Giga Drain here. I'm like, did he misclick? And I was like, wait, no, he has weakness policy.
Yeah. So I switched into a weakness policy, expecting you to attack my Crobat with the Snorlax, allowing the Darmanitan to go down to its own recoil damage. And I wanted to save one of Crobat or Darmanitan for the Rabombi in the back, as one of them outspeeds it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was my idea behind that play. I was thinking, you're not going to attack this slot with Snorlax, but you might attack it with the Palossand. It was a risky play, but it was really nice to get myself to a +2 straight away.
And here I feel pretty okay against the Steelix. Like, I know you get body press shenanigans, but like I'm at +1 defense. have heavily invested in defense, so I'm thinking, okay, what do I do here? I probably just protect because I want to get some damage on that Tapu Fini and kind of scare it a little bit, so that maybe force a protect the next turn. So that the oh yeah, this was a double protect here too. I knew that was a winning mission for me.
I felt like you were kind of forced there. It was a pretty good position for my Tapu Fini just to remove it, and then curse with my own Steelix to take any hit from your Snorlax. Because I know at this point Steelix can probably 1v1 a Snorlax, especially with me having body press on it.
Yeah, so Seed Bomb comes out. This is going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, that might be relevant.
+1.
Yeah, that was +1. Yeah. So as you can see, like Tapu Fini obviously very tanky, but
I'm literally running all bulk on Tapu Fini this week.
Yeah. So Rabombi's allowed to come out here. This is an opportunity for me to speed swap, but I do figure. So I'm thinking this, right? I'm thinking, okay, I speed swap here. I can kill the Fini with Snorlax potentially. Or, like, get some speed control here. Or I can go for the Fini with the Rabombi, get the kill, because like it was kind of a question of like, what does the Fini do here, right? So if you protect with it, like I get a free speed swap off and some damage onto Steelix, and then I can kill it next turn with the Snorlax. So I figured you might know that. So I tried going to kill for the kill, but you do the protect here, which is nice.
Yeah, I felt like I wanted to just remove the Rabombi. He went for the speed swap. Just kill the Rabombi to make it a 3v1 situation.
Yeah.
And what also was going through my head is depending on like your speed on the Rabombi, you're -1 on the Snorlax already, so a speed swap you would carry through that -1, and maybe Tapu Fini might still be able to outspeed you later on.
Right, right. Here, I think the
But my
correct
Tapu Fini was slow, so
yeah, the correct play for the Snorlax here, I think, was to get a speed swap and then like either it's like either the Rabombi charms the Steelix, which would be pretty solid. Not that it matters when it comes to body press, obviously, but you could charm the Steelix potentially. Another option was to just go for like some little bit of extra damage, and then with Snorlax you just Darkest Lariat the Steelix, because it's gonna ignore those defense boosts, but I still get my +1. I didn't end up using the Darkest Lariat this game, unfortunately. Another thing is I could have just Pollen Puffed the Snorlax to get it a little less extra HP there, which I don't think mattered, honestly, but you know, you get a kill with the, like here you just basically double into Snorlax and it should be a free kill, even if the Snorlax lives the first one. And do you actually kill the Snorlax here? I don't know if you do.
I don't remember.
Oh no, I know Flare Blitz, and
Flare Blitz was doing not a great amount of damage, and I self KO myself.
Yeah. I was stupid here because I needed to go for Darkest Lariat. I forgot that Flare Blitz would just kill you, so I went for the Body Slam. I was hoping for a para potentially, but
Misty Terrain.
Yeah, Misty Terrain. It's always annoying. So
yeah,
body press gets the KO. Unfortunate. Kind of a few misplays on my end, I think, and that led to his first win.
Game 1 to the Wailords.
Yes.
But just things to note from that, I felt like your Sandcastle was a huge threat to my team if you could have got that position. I felt like Snorlax could be checked by the Steelix if I get that into position away from the Sandcastle. But I feel like going into game 2, I was just going to leave the same again because I hadn't revealed all my tech. Like I still had a move you'll see at the start of this turn. I still have Whirlwind and Taunt hidden. I still have a few moves hidden on across my mons. So I feel pretty good that I can probably catch you out a little bit.
Right.
But we'll see. What were your thoughts going into the second game?
This second game, I'm thinking I need a way to position my Palossand better and my Snorlax better, and that's obviously to get Trick Room up. So I'm thinking, like, if I can bring out Snorlax and start threatening you a little bit more, just like put on a little bit of pressure, the Dusknoir has a little bit more breathing room. So that's why I kind of lead it with the Dusknoir. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in a second. I don't remember exactly how game 2 started, but we'll see. And then I'm thinking if I am worried about like Steelix, like I have the I decided I need to bring Amoonguss here because I can just Rage Powder it, and it's not going to do like a ton to me, and that gives a little bit more room for the Snorlax and the Palossand to breathe again. So like all of this was just like I need to find ways to let Snorlax and Palossand have the opportunity to attack, because that'll obviously give it, like I can do some big damage with them. So
yeah.
So yeah. Here's Crobat, Darmanitan, Snorlax, Dusknoir. Here, you start doing some shenanigans.
Oh yeah, I felt like this was a very passive. So I realized myself that during this turn, what I'm about to do is quite passive. Because I feel like at this point you could go for a Trick Room with a Dusknoir. You've seen that it lives, because I felt like that was what your mistake was in the first game, was that you didn't go for the immediate Trick Room, and I felt like you were going to go for a Curse with the Snorlax to get yourself more defensively boosted, because I don't really have a lot to attack you with here.
Right. So what I was thinking is, he can just go for whatever he wants to into that Dusk Noir. It could be a double, it could be like he taunts it, whatever. He knows I have Rocky Helmet now instead of Mental Herbs, so that's like seems like pretty obvious to me, which is what you do. You go for the taunt, right?
Yeah.
And you go for this trick into Snorlax, so now my Snorlax is Choice Scarfed, locked into Body Slam. So
Yeah.
my thought process there for attacking the Crobat is like, once again, this Crobat's annoying, I want to get rid of it as soon as I can. So now I'm thinking, okay, he sees that I protect on Dusk Noir. Now I'm just going to go for a Trick Room. And maybe he swaps out his Crobat or something, or like tries to double into that slot now or whatever. You use the U-turn into Snorlax. This actually does like more damage than I want it to.
Yeah, it was doing pretty good damage, and to be honest, U-turn, Flare Blitz, I think, well, Flare Blitz still would have done more, but I didn't really want to be taking that amount of damage straight off the bat from a Flare Blitz without assuring myself some KOs.
And I see Steelix here, and I go, okay, that's fine. If I can get this Trick Room up, I have the Palossand in the back for it. No big deal. I get the Para here, which is pretty sweet. Use the Whirlwind. I wish I would have parried there, but...
I feel like, though, for me, that was bad, because Steelix would have actually outsped the Palossand in Trick Room.
Yeah.
And I brought my Steelix in, and I'm really pressured by the Palossand. And I put myself into a bad position. I would have preferred to have just gone for a taunt that previous turn into the Dusknoir.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know you're going to switch out the Steelix here, I think, because you see that Palossand. So I do just double into that slot, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a decent prediction on my end, because this is going to cripple the whatever comes in my opinion. And worst case scenario, you don't switch out the Steelix, and I get a Earth Power Body Slam off onto it, and it likely kills it.
No, it was a really good play, because my Tapu Fini, although it's bulky, this is a lot.
Yes. And it puts me in it's like one of those things that's annoying, and this is something that people mention. I don't think that... honestly, I think if you had Giga Drained there into your own Tapu Fini, I don't know what you did there.
That's exactly what I did.
I think you would have killed it, maybe. No, never mind.
Nowhere near killed, but I went for the Giga Drain into my Fini, because I was thinking it would be fine to go and do the same move again. Not expecting you to double up there.
Here you'll see that I forget I'm Choice Scarfed. I'm like, ah, shit. So I decided I probably should have just gone for Fini there and hoped for like a high roll. I don't actually remember. Maybe I do. But I think I just switched back into Dusk Noir here. Predicting that you'll probably just scald my Palossand. Yeah.
Bringing Steelix back out, because I felt like now Tapu Fini's on the field, I'm pressuring the Palossand with Fini. Like, Palossand can't attack Steelix without getting really damaged by Fini.
Yeah. And so I'm bringing out Dusknoir again. I go, if he switches out Crobat here, which is something that I figured you might do, I have a pretty solid opportunity to Trick Room.
What's funny is I think I remember that turn, and I was considering going for the taunt into the Snorlax, expecting you to switch out, which would have been a really big play.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think also the thing that was pretty nice for me is also that I think I'm in Nightshade range to kill that Tapu Fini potentially. Maybe not.
I don't think it is. I don't think so. I think
it's over 50
Tapu Fini's got a lot of bulk.
Okay, well maybe not, but we'll see. Yeah.
I expect him to go for a switch with the Palossand here, because you've still got like 4 relatively healthy Mons, and I've got a paralyzed weak Mon, a low health Mon. Like, at this point in the game, I'm falling a little bit behind.
Yeah. Send out the Amoonguss here. You go for a Calm Mind.
Which is why you see me going for the Calm Mind.
Yeah.
but I don't know if that was the best play. Maybe gone for a Moonblast or a Skull, just get some damage off or something.
Yeah,
I expect to switch in, which is why I go for the Curse with these Steelix. Because if you're going to be setting Trick Room there no matter what, so I wanted Steelix to be under speeding.
yeah, definitely. So go for the Trick Room. Finally get my Trick Room up, which is nice.
But thanks to that Curse, I'm now up slower, so faster inside Trick Room with Steelix than what your Amoonguss is.
Yeah. So I actually so I made a huge blunder here. If I had gone for the so I did go for a Clear Smog into Tapu Fini, but I forgot that you had weakness policy. So yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I brought weakness policy, because I was kind of expecting Clear Smog on the Amoonguss, and I could just take a Clear Smog and then just activate my policy.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I feel like I should have just attacked here, because I would have lived a because I protect here thinking you might just double up into Tapu Fini.
Right.
Not expecting the Clear Smog. I was thinking you might just go for an attack and get the KO.
You go for the Iron.
We see that the Iron Head just wasn't doing enough damage. Just outside the 50, just below 50%.
Yeah. And I taunt here to prevent more curses. Maybe I should have just gone for a Nightshade into the Steelix as well. I think at this point I'm making some pretty bad decisions, honestly. And looking back on it, I just think I should be just going for some attacks and maybe a Pollen Puff into my Dusknoir to juice it a little bit. So, yeah.
I mean, I definitely was expecting you to go from a Tapu Fini at some point and take it out, which is why I end up switching out here to just basically bring Crobat out as a sack, almost, because I needed to end the Trick Room as fastly, get Trick Room over as quick as I could, but I needed the Tapu Fini to be doing damage to the Sandagast.
Yeah, definitely.
Palisand, whatever you want to call it.
You're very lucky I didn't end up bringing Pain Split, which is something that I wanted to bring on that Dusknoir. But, yeah, because he was living a lot of that stuff. The Pollen Puff is nice there. It gives me a little bit of extra room to breathe. I Rage Powder because I don't want Steelix to, I don't know, flinch my Dusknoir here or crit it or something like that.
But obviously, you don't know that I'm actually force Steelix. So these Iron Heads are boosted by sheer force as well, and yet still just not taking you to that 50% range. So I decided to just double up, I think, into the Amoonguss here.
Yeah, well, I made that decision for you for the Steelix Iron Head there. That does so much damage. If I'd gone for the Nightshade into Crobat here, it would have been nice, because that Steelix is just barely out of range. So,
yeah, I decided to double the Amoonguss to just remove it, and so that, because your Nightshade was doing 50 damage to me, and I was on 55, so I didn't want you to.
And then you just barely.
With the Rocky Helmet, recoil. If I attack you Dusknoir again, and you just Pollen Puff, then I've just lost my Steelix for no reason.
Yeah. So Palisand comes out. One more turn of Trick Room, if I'm not mistaken. Which is
I
nice.
do check.
I get the double KO, thankfully.
Which at the time I thought was okay that you got the double KO, because I was thinking, oh well, I've got Tapu Fini coming back in and our Trick Room ends. So.
I'm thinking whether or not to protect the Dusknoir here, because I know Steelix is faster. But I figured you would probably go for the Palisand with the Steelix anyway.
And you went for the Sludge Bomb, predicting I was going to switch into Tapu Fini, maybe.
Yeah, I figured it was the safest move there, just because I know it kills from that range. And if you decide, hey, last turn of Trick Room, I want to save this Crobat and switch into the Fini, knowing that he probably just I don't know. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It's just
you're trying to make a read.
Pretty safe play overall. I show that I have Sludge Bomb, unfortunately. Luckily, you didn't see it, but
which I just completely forgot that you had. I kind of missed the Sludge Bomb.
Yeah. So this is a sucky position to be in for me, right? Got the Trick Room. Did it go down? I'm pretty sure it did, right? Or is it one more
Yeah,
turn?
Trick Room had ended. I made sure to check.
Yeah.
And I kind of expected Palisand to be switched out, I think. Or at least it would protect or something.
Yeah. So I switch it out. I try to go for a kill onto the Tapu Fini. Knowing that the Darmanitan... Darmanitan... might be able to... I don't know. I don't know what I was doing, honestly. I think that might have been
I felt pretty
too.
confident that a Flare Blitz here was going to be more based on the previous roll. And I didn't think like the Rocky Helmet and Flare Blitz recoil was going to be too damaging to Darmanitan, especially as I got your leftovers from the Snorlax earlier on in the game.
Yeah. I thought that the Dusknoir probably could live that, but we can go back and double check to make sure in a second. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that might have been a roll as well. Because if I remember, no, you know what?
This is the crucial turn. I'm thinking, what do you do here? To me, you need to protect the Palisand, otherwise Finny just KOs you and I can just 2v1 you.
Yeah.
Or Darmanitan can just 1v1 you at the end after some chip and stuff.
Yeah.
So I go for the protect on the Tapu Fini, expecting you to, not attack me. And I feel like I kind of misplayed this turn a little bit.
Yeah.
And
this is a bit of a throw.
if I had attacked the Palisand with the Darmanitan here, it would have been great. I just, as we saw in week 1, I just keep mispredicting my protects and stuff. So I go for the Flare Blitz into the Snorlax just to, do as much damage. What I should have done here is always just attacked the Sandygast, because if your Snorlax doesn't threaten Darmanitan that much here.
Yeah.
Wherefore, as you can see, Earth Power does.
Yeah, and this is a situation where now the fact that you go for the protect there, I get the free win here, because Body Slam always kills, or Sludge Bomb always kills, right?
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And what's kind of interesting here is, honestly, I didn't expect it, but Snorlax also lives a Scald from this range somehow.
I think I go for a Moonblast.
Moonblast, sorry.
And the reason why is because I forgot that you had Sludge Bomb at this point, and I was thinking I could probably live an attack from a Sandygast. I'm really specially bulky. Who's the more threat here? So I tried to take out the Snorlax to try and take out your Sandygast the following turn.
Right. So that's game 2. Win for the Drowsy Dracozols.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be
you take it to a 3-game set.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I deserved that win. If I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the protect there, it was a read, right? I made a pretty big read. If I had just attacked you there, then it was game over. Right. Well, I mean, the thing is if I had protected the Palisand, and you'd gone for a Scald, and I just go for the Tapu Fini there with the Snorlax, then that's OGG for me, because I think the Snorlax plus the Palisand is now 2v1ing the Darmanitan, right? So it was just a call of whether or not to protect the Palisand, and whether or not you were going to protect the Tapu Fini, right?
Yeah.
You could have maybe doubled the Snorlax there with the Darmanitan plus Tapu Fini, but as you saw there too, I think the Snorlax lives that, right? Well, no, because of leftovers, maybe? I don't know.
You removed your leftovers because of it was...
right, never mind.
It was Choice Scarf. But, yeah. So going into this 3rd game, I felt like Booth Launch. So I switched up to lead with Booth Launch, because I was thinking I can probably, I have assurance on the Booth Launch, as you'll see this first turn. I was thinking if you leave the Dusknoir again, I can probably remove it in the first turn. But plus, also Bufflon can ignore the Nightshades from the Dusknoir. It can take a few hits, and it can deal out some decent offensive damage. So
yeah,
I'll let you talk through your...
Yeah, no, here I think I am if I Rage Powder here, I basically just get Trick Room up, right? But I feel like you know that. So I feel like what I'm going to do here is, if I just Rage Powder, you're just like, okay, I'll just Flare Blitz your, Flare Blitz your Amoonguss, kill it in one hit, and then, I don't know, Bouffalant can taunt or something, right? Like, I don't know what Bouffalant has at all. So I go, okay, I'll just switch into Snorlax here to tank a Flare Blitz. And you're like, no, I don't care about that Amoonguss, I'm just going to kill Dusknoir here.
Well, I decided, like, if you were going to go for a Trick Room thing and redirection, well, that Flare Blitz is just going to KO the Amoonguss anyway. And that means I still get some damage off with the Darmanitan. And if you don't, then I can just Assurance you, and, well, that's it, dead. Dusknoir turn 1.
And honestly, frankly, I feel like I should have just gone for Rage Powder there. Because, yes, Amoonguss goes down, but then I get Palossand into position here, and I feel like that's just so good for me. And I need to learn, I think, a little bit more how to use the momentum on this team a little bit better with the KOs, and, like, not try to, like, preserve so hard.
This was another big turn for me.
Yeah.
I doubled it into your Snorlax here. I should have gone for a Flare Blitz plus Assurance, but I was so paranoid that you were going to go for a Protect that you could just do something else with the Snorlax and get some good damage on like Darmanitan or something. Yeah. So I still didn't know what your fourth move was, and it could have been a ground type move for all I knew.
Yeah. And I could also maybe go for a Curse here.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I was trying to do as much damage as I can.
Yeah, I was thinking you go for like Palossand easy here. So yeah. I mean, you go for the Flare Blitz into the Amoonguss, which sucks. I was like, when does he ever Flare Blitz this Snorlax here? Honestly,
which obviously is thick fat.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just didn't make sense to me because I knew you were choice locked, right? And so I figure I can go for the pick up the kill here onto Darmanitan and get a free switch into Amoonguss because I figure, okay, if he's gonna go for, if he has the Bouffalant, he might have close combat, right? So I'm like, maybe close combat's the Snorlax here. So I figured Amoonguss was like a super safe switch. And no, you didn't go for close combat, so now I'm questioning whether or not you even have close combat.
I didn't want to be lowering my defenses at that point, which is why I didn't go for the close combat. I thought head charge, I'd rather take recoil than lower defenses at that point.
Right.
Because the Flare Blitz would have done damage, then the head charge would have done, but I should have gone for I should have just gone for the Assurance, because if I did get the KO, if you swap like you did, I got nothing on the Palossand there. And this turn is huge. I mistakenly just go for a Carmine, because I'd forgotten that he'd got Sludge Bomb. So this is a completely misspec play by me, thinking that I'll live a Earth Power, I'll live a Shadow Ball. And yeah, so I go for the head charge, just do some damage to the Snorlax, just see how much I can do. And I realise that you're running quite a defensively bulky Snorlax with that amount of damage.
And then I get a huge, I mean, that was a big crit, but
a huge crit,
it's a question of whether or not this would have killed anyway, just because I doubled into it. I think it might have been
was doing less than half damage, and with a +1, the Sludge Bomb I don't think would have KO'd. And then it would have created a mind game of, well, can this Tapu attack the Palossand? Will it attack the Snorlax this next turn?
Yeah.
And I think I would have been fine to have just gone for a close combat into the Snorlax. It would have KO'd because from that range, and then the Tapu would be able to just keep skull spamming the castle.
Right.
But then I'm stuck with Steelix coming out onto the field, and this is not a position I want Steelix in.
Yeah. The Palossand can do some big damage here. My thoughts here are, I just want to try to pick up a kill on this Steelix. If I kill the Steelix with the Palossand, I want to body slam the Bouffalant over anything. So I was doubling into Steelix for Assurance here. I was hoping that I could kill even at the +1, because I did calc it beforehand to see if you could live a Steelix with a Misty Seed before. That is a calc I did, actually. I was quite sure that I could kill it. I think it might have been a
what's
roll.
big is that I got a critical hit on you there.
Yeah.
But not only that, but the Earth Power low rolled my Steelix, or it must have been a roll there.
I think.
And then I won the speed tie between Snorlax and Steelix. I got the Iron Head off into the Palossand.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate. But you know, I think this is still an interesting position to be in. at the end of the game. um, very close.
Very
close.
interesting. Very.
So,
All comes down to this turn.
all comes down to the turn. And the question is whether or not I can... So I'm thinking here, okay, he's got head charge as his main move. I don't think you have close combat, right? So I just body slam here, and you should just die, right? Like, the recoil will do too much to you, but then you go for a close combat. And I'm like, oh, he did have close combat, but I live. And you get the
live.
defense drop. And I'm like, oh crap, maybe I can kill here. But I didn't have any curse boosts, and as you'll see, it is not quite enough. Plus, you have the citrus berry, so this is an easy GG for you at that point.
But it came down close. I mean, that close combat was a roll to KO.
Yeah.
Wherefore, your body slam, we calced it. It wasn't ever going to KO from that range, even at -1.
It wasn't. It certainly wasn't. And like, yeah, basically, I was operating under the assumption you didn't even have the close combat. But like, even regardless of that, like, I needed a crit there to even win that game. So, which would have been tragic, frankly. So I'm glad I didn't.
especially after that first crit on the Tapu Fini. I'm pretty sure with my spreads, Tapu Fini lived a sludge bomb plus a seed bomb there.
Yeah. Well, we can calc that in a minute, but yeah, that's the game. We're gonna switch over real quick to the teams themselves, and we'll be right back for that. All right, so here we are with the the pastes, just to show you guys. Just to show all the spicy tech that didn't end up coming. This is Matrix's squad. As you'll see, he's got... I mean, the only real tech that you didn't get to show off is the Cofagrigus, which really wasn't unexpected. I kind of didn't expect the Calm Mind, honestly, which is kind of interesting. But other than that, it is what it is. Anything you wanted to quickly say about your team? I thought that trick tech was super cool. I thought that the weakness policy Tapu Fini put in some work. Honestly, I don't know if the weakness policy made a huge difference, frankly.
It didn't in the end, no. It definitely applied some pressure, and at least to how you approach the game,
right,
after learning it was weakness policy.
Yeah.
I wish it had done a little bit more in that first game, but I just got a little bit out of position for whatever reason. Thanks to the Snorlax and that. But it was still nice. I was glad I got to at least show it off. The Geiger Drain was also good for the Bouffalont, which is the original reason why I had the Geiger to boost Bouffalont's attack power.
Right.
To the point where some of these nearly 2-hit KOs was actually going to become a 2-hit KO, or these nearly 1-hit KOs become, 1-hit KOs.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good synergy there.
And it was only because I had that Geiger Drain on there on the Crobat. I went, no, let's put a weakness policy on Tapu Fini, because I didn't know what really to run on top of this week.
Yeah, Tapu Fini is one of those mons that you're just like, I know I'm bringing this, but what to bring on it?
Yeah.
It's just too good not to. But then, you're usually just running Moonblast, Scald, and Calm Mind, Protect, like exactly what you have there.
Yeah. Or Muddy Water and stuff. And I felt like I could have brought Muddy Water, but I was too paranoid about like you running Wide Guard or Stack Attacker or Turtonator, and Muddy Water is like the worst move in the game because it never hits when you want it to hit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt like I couldn't really afford that this week, so I decided to go for Scald. And I know, like, Scald can't get the secondary effects off it. I can't burn you and stuff unless the terrain goes. Right. But I was planning to stay in a long time with Tapu Fini anyway, with the Calm Mind and stuff, but I never actually got a chance to really set her up. What ended up happening was I ended up using a lot of the more upfront offensive pressure of like Darmanitan and even Bouffalont, really, to just apply pressure. Yeah.
No, definitely. The Choice Scarf on the Darmanitan, definitely something I should have prepped a little bit harder for, in my opinion, but I somewhat expected it, but I was like, I don't know if Matrix goes for that, because I feel like it locks him into decisions that he's the kind of player, like for me, I was thinking you're the kind of player that likes the little bit of more flexibility. I don't see you running Scarf like a whole lot, honestly. So I was
Yeah,
like,
usually I run Scarf for like speed control
yeah,
reasons, and obviously against a Rabomba, you can't even do Scarf speed control because of the shed,
exactly.
what's it called, shield dust.
Exactly. So I was
So
like, if anything, like it's a 50-50 whether he brings this scarf, which is kind of an interesting point that I think it's worth mentioning here. Just you and I know each other so well that like a lot of the decisions you see here between our teams, if you were to like look at the matchup, like just in a vacuum, you might not remotely think of some of the stuff we're bringing against each other. Like Whirlwind Crobat is okay, I guess, but like like we know each other well, so I feel like maybe you even bring different mons and I bring different mons, but just because we practice a lot together and we know each other's sort of like what we like to bring in certain situations, like I think there was a lot of 3D chess going on. I don't know if you felt the same way.
I definitely did because of like another reason why I just decided to attack into the Dusknoir turn one is because I didn't know if you even had a Batiste in the back. So like you could have switched in Aromatisse to guarantee a trick room with like the Aroma Veil if I went for a taunt, or
Yeah,
it was really difficult to know like what moves to press and when, and like you can see that I make a few mistakes here and there through the game. The reason why I led the Darnatine Crobat was just because of I felt like Dusknoir was a very lightly lead, but also so was Ribombee. And I felt like Crobat had enough for the Dusknoir, like with Whirlwind and Taunt. But I also had the options to just one shot the Bombay before it could even move. Well, two shot because of Focus Sash before it could even move. And I was planning to go for like a U-turn with a Darmanitan to reposition afterwards. But then I thought if you do click Trick Room here and I just kill the Ribombee before it moves and then you bring in your slow mons, that's a bit of a bad thing. So I was like, no, we'll just go for damage.
yeah,
Because I felt like that was something you weren't expecting me to do. I was a little bit panicking towards the
exactly.
end of that first turn. I was thinking, what are you going to expect me to do here? Maybe expect me to run a bit more control rather than just pure offense.
Yeah. I don't know what I expected. I mean, I expected you to potentially like double into it, but then I get a charm off. But like I don't know. I honestly think it wasn't worth it at the end of the day. I probably should have just clicked Trick Room. I think it was like 20, like retrospect, like hindsight's 2020 type of situation where I could have made plays, but knowing that's a role, like maybe I just protect there. I don't know. Either way, as my point stands, is there's a lot of mind games going on behind the scenes, even before the games even started. So
Yeah.
that's sort of
So
interesting. Here's my
if I can
squad.
just touch, if I can I just touch quickly upon a few other pieces of my team
Oh yeah,
quickly.
for sure. Sorry about that.
So the Cofagrigus, the reason why I never actually ended up bringing it to the match is that I was really worried that you were going to be hard targeting Cofagrigus because of it's my only trick room set, it's my only trick room reverse, and it could have gone for imprison and stuff like that. But I felt so this is why I went for like a Iron Defense, Carmine, Body Press, Shadow Ball set, just so that I could be a bit more tanky, a bit more, live a few more attacks. I can set up outside a trick room and then be fine inside. But then I see that you've got Taunt on the Dusknoir in game one, and I'm like, Dusknoir with a Taunt. I don't have Mental Herb, plus the set on uh, the Life Orb Palisand, and I'm like, Cofagrigus isn't going to really do overly well in this game. Like it would have done well in other matchups, but like against if you brought Stack Attacker, but I just couldn't see it really doing well against what you brought. What I really liked was the Boufflant Assurance tech because I
Yeah,
knew that I could basically destroy the Dusknoir with that.
yeah.
Because I could double up with a really high offensive like Damart and plus Assurance. It just completely wipes a Dusknoir,
That was
which is what I
very
ended up doing
very
in game three.
unexpected. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a huge fan of Assurance. I think it's a totally underrated move in my opinion. It's just like sometimes a free 120 power dark move, like
Mm-hmm.
so definitely in my opinion a great move. But and so yeah, you executed it really well, especially that game three.
Yeah,
um
it was my only answer for ghost types. I needed a third move on the booth one that could hit the two ghost types because I was running normal and fighting. I was like, assurance could be pretty good considering booth one smack bang in the middle of all my speeds on this team.
Yeah.
And my last piece of tech I just wanted to mention because I really liked it, but I never got to show it, was Earth Power on a Sheer Force Steelix with a bit of a special attack investment. Because of that Earth Power, if you weren't running Sugarberry on a stack attacker, would just straight up one-shot it.
Yeah, that's kind of hilarious, honestly. But no, it's obviously I felt pretty threatened with my stack attacker into this squad, honestly. So as much as I love the stack attacker, not my favorite squad to be going up against with it, unfortunately. Just a lot to deal with it and a lot to disrupt it, and yeah, frankly, it's just not a fun situation. Especially like that Mian Shao scares me, and like I don't know, just like didn't
That's
feel
understandable.
didn't feel right. I honestly didn't have like a ton of tech, frankly. I wanted to go, generally speaking, like when it's the beginning of the season, I like to go a little bit more standard with the team just so I could get a feel of how they're usually used. And then later on, I start to get a little wacky with them once I know the rules of how to use them a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a ton of tech, other than I brought Charm on the Rabombi, which is obviously I think in a different universe, like definitely could have done a lot of work against that Darmanitan.
It really surprised me. Like I wasn't expecting a charm there at all. Like I
Yeah,
didn't expect charm on the set. And another thing I really liked was obviously the Dusknoir with the Rocky helmet.
yeah,
That I thought was really good.
yeah. I knew Dusknoir was gonna be the target of a bunch of people. I was really debating whether or not to bring Taunt or Pain Split on the Dusknoir. Taunt because I knew obviously there was the Cofagrigus, but also like I knew you might bring like Whirlwind on Crobat,
Yeah.
because I knew that's a pretty interesting tech. That's actually a tech that Brian used against me in practice. So I was like, okay. Honestly, the fact that Brian brought it against me in practice kind of leaned me towards the Taunt more so than the Pain Split. But I think like Rocky Helmet Pain Split into like into a team that really wants to kill that Dusknoir could be really super annoying. Just being able to Pain Split like a Tapu Fini once in a while, you're like, ooh, that's
No, yeah,
juicy.
a pain split would have been nice as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew at the end of the day, the Taunt is what we brought. Taunt I think was still pretty solid overall. I just don't think I used it properly, or maybe I just I baited myself into taunting that Crobat. Um, Cursed Snorlax. I mean, once again, not super techy, but like I think ultimately just like a really strong move that I can use in a good position, which I think in game one you saw it was quite
No, it was really
annoying.
good. I was really worried in that game when you. Jesus, thank God you didn't have belly drum Snorlax at that point. I was thinking, if you were belly drum Snorlax, that could have just been a GG there. I didn't even
Yeah,
consider it when you started
yeah,
setting up with the Snorlax.
yeah. Amoonguss, Clear Smog, pretty good against Calm Mind, Tapu Fini. Uh,
Which
so
is again why I went weakness policy. That
yeah,
was one of the reasons.
exactly. I was really considering bringing like a grass move on it, which would have been a little bit helpful in some situations, maybe, because I didn't have a really way to hit the Steelix. But like I figured Rage Powder, Protect, Pollen Puff, just make it like super supportive. Bring it with Black Sludge. I was considering running obviously like Occaberry into it, and in order to run it with that, I would have had to like super duper duper high like invest into defense, and I don't even know if I could have run any special defense if I wanted to do that. I think I would have had to been like full like to live a Life Orb Sheer Force Darmanitan with Flare Blitz. I think I could live it, but it was very
It was, yeah.
very very hard to
I mean,
like not
without
even
even
worth it.
Life Orb on my Darmanitan, it was doing guaranteed to do like 120 to 150% to a full bulk 252
Yeah.
Amoonguss.
Yeah, I did the calc at one point, and it was like your Amoonguss is living with like 5% HP from that. I was like, at that point, I'm just bringing Protect instead, and like just gonna try to read it instead. There's genuinely no point otherwise. So I did that. The Aromatisse plus Palossand was actually a really interesting combo that I thought was going to do well. I felt very hesitant to bring Aromatisse overall. I'm not super comfortable with it yet. And I think, you know, there was not a whole lot it could have done in this particular game, I don't think.
Yeah, I felt like Steelix checked her pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw that Steelix there, and I was like, yeah, there's really no room for me to bring it here. Um, but I did have a secret bit of tech on it, which is if you see
Like
that little
this.
shiny like variable, it says yes on it. I know you hate shiny Aromatisse, so I thought I would bring that to mess with you.
What I was really surprised by, I was thinking like Parsan was going to be running Energy Ball. So when it was Sludge Bomb, I thought that was really good because it stopped me from being able to swap in my Boufflons if I ever wanted to.
Yeah,
And like it wouldn't have, because I had a Sap Sipper and I couldn't really
exactly.
swap in a Steelix comfortably into a Palossand.
Yeah, and I figured, there was the chance you do bring like Sceptile potentially, and just like bringing Energy Ball just felt like suboptimal overall.
No, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and Sludge Bomb was, you know, even though you don't get that chance to poison on the misty terrain, like it still does a lot. Does a lot. So
What I found quite funny is at one point I was going to bring skill swap Cofagrigus,
to get rid of
because
thick
if
fat or
skill swap
whatever.
would have well, one, it could remove your thick fat. Two, it could it could give me your frisk or your regenerator or your aroma veil, so I couldn't be taunted.
Yeah,
It could give me the water compaction and pair it with a surf Tapu Fini if I wanted,
yeah, yeah.
and plus body press. And so it was something I had planned, but I just felt like it just wasn't going to pull off as well as I could hope.
No, no. So I feel
Didn't use it
like,
anyway. So.
that's some interesting tech right there, honestly. So I was expecting like I was expecting disruption at at the end of the day, like whether it was going to be that, whether it's going to be like trick choice scarp, I guess. I don't know. Whirlwind, whatever. I'm the team that definitely has to be very much aware of like you're going to try to disrupt me. So there's some after this game, especially. I think I've learned a lot from how this team works a little bit better. And I do think I'm probably going to make some adjustments to it over the next couple weeks, just to shore it up. But I also don't think I did too bad. I think you played very well. You had good tech, as always. You're an excellent player. So props for the win, and I think that's enough rambling on, in my opinion. What do you
Agreed.
think? All right.
I think we've gone over everything at this point, and so we should just probably bring this video to a close.
Yeah, definitely. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Bye.
See you guys.